You pick up a can of sardines because it's healthy. Omega-3s, protein, clean ingredients. It feels like a smart choice. Here's what the label isn't telling you. The oil inside most cans is actively canceling those omega-3s out. Some of the biggest names in this aisle have sodium levels cardiologists would flag.
One brand has a documented pattern of charging customers for orders that never arrived.
And a few can't even confirm what species of fish is in the tin.
180 million cans sold last year, almost entirely on trust.
12 brands to avoid. Let's find out which is which.
Number 12. Season brand. 20 varieties implies range and expertise.
What it actually means is that Season has had 20 opportunities to fix their core problem and has not taken a single one.
The problem is sodium. The average sardine can sit around 300 milligrams.
Several varieties of canned fish push to 560 milligrams. The worst offenders are the skinless and boneless sardines in tomato sauce and the bone-inch sardines in tomato sauce. The American Heart Association recommends a maximum of 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day for cardiovascular health.
One can of Season burns through over a third of that before anything else you eat.
For anyone managing blood pressure or on a heart-healthy diet, one can is a meaningful hit, not a snack.
Consumer reviews consistently flag sharp scales left in the fish, a basic processing failure, and small fragmented sardines that arrive broken in the can.
At the prices Season charges for premium varieties, that is not acceptable.
Season is not the only sodium problem on this list, but the next brand has a different issue. One that is quieter, harder to spot on the label, and in some ways, more serious.
Number 11. Brunswick. Brunswick dominates the Canadian sardine market the way chicken of the sea dominates in the US.
It is the default purchase, the familiar tin, the brand Canadian families have bought for generations.
Here is what most American buyers have never been told. Brunswick sells a meaningfully different product in the US than it sells in Canada. Their best-selling US line is skinless and boneless sardines. That sounds like a convenience feature. Less mess, easier eating.
What the packaging does not say is that removing the skin reduces the omega-3 content.
And removing the bones strips out calcium, vitamin D, and several other key micronutrients. The numbers are stark. Brunswick's skinless and boneless sardines sold in the US deliver 4% of your recommended daily vitamin D, 4%. The bone-in version sold in Canada delivers 98%. Calcium comes in at 6%, potassium at 2%. These are nutritionally hollowed-out sardines in health food packaging,
sold to buyers who have every reason to believe they are getting the real thing. Adds to the concern for anyone watching their blood pressure.
Number 10. MW Polar. MW Polar markets their sardines in tomato sauce with a simple claim.
Sardines, tomato sauce, salt, and water. 4 ingredients. Clean, minimal. Exactly what a health-conscious buyer wants to see. That is not what is in the can. The actual ingredient list includes sugar, starch, soybean oil, and xanthan gum, a corn-derived binder that causes gas and bloating with regular consumption, and that people with a corn allergy cannot safely eat at all. There is no prominent allergy warning on the packaging. That gap between what the marketing promises and what the label confirms is not an oversight. It is a misleading claim on a product built around the idea of simplicity. The nutrition adds to it.
Only 10 grams of protein per can. Quality sardines deliver 16 to 20.
10 grams raises a legitimate question about what is actually in the tin. Reviewers also note a persistent sour taste across multiple purchases. Not an off-batch, but a consistent product characteristic. The next brand is not hiding bad ingredients. It has a different kind of problem entirely.
One that costs some buyers a great deal more than they expected.
Number 9. Roland. Roland used to be a dependable budget option.
Reasonable price, decent quality, nothing remarkable, but nothing wrong. That changed, and buyers documented it. A customer in Chicago ordered a 10-pack of Roland sardines through a major online retailer, paid for 10 cans, and received 2. She contacted customer service and found she was not alone.
Hundreds of documented complaints followed the same pattern. Multi-packs paid for, a fraction delivered.
One buyer paid $72 expecting 20 cans and opened the box to find 2.
Reasonable price, decent quality, nothing remarkable, but nothing wrong. Pricing has also moved sharply upward. Single tins that used to retail around $2 now appear at nearly $12 in some channels. With no product change to justify the increase, these are still skinless and boneless sardines, which means reduced omega-3 content, low calcium, low vitamin D. Pricing has also moved sharply upward. Single tins that used to retail around $2 now appear at nearly $12 in some channels.
But when buyers cannot trust that they will receive what they paid for, the contents of the tin become secondary.
Number 8. Beach Cliff. A 6-pack for around $7.50, roughly $1.25 per can. The price is the pitch. The cholesterol numbers are where the deal falls apart. Beach Cliff sardines in water contain 100 milligrams of cholesterol per can. The tomato sauce variety comes in at 105 milligrams. For people with cardiovascular risk factors, a leading health organization recommends a daily ceiling of 200 milligrams of dietary cholesterol.
One can get you more than halfway there before your next meal.
The Louisiana hot sauce version is where it escalates. 710 milligrams of sodium and 180 milligrams of cholesterol in one can. That is 90% of a conservative daily cholesterol limit and nearly half the sodium ceiling for heart health from a single serving. The fish are mushy, poorly packed, and the flat flavor is something the hot sauce masks rather than complements. One thing worth holding, Beach Cliff is owned by Bumblebee. We will get to Bumblebee, and the parent company does not outperform the subsidiary. If this kind of breakdown is useful to you, a quick like helps more people find it.
Now, back to the list, and things are about to get more specific.
Number 7. Goya Budget Line. Goya carries genuine loyalty. Built across Latin American households, U.S. Hispanic communities, and parts of Asia and Africa over decades. That trust is real, and most of it is earned. This entry is specifically about their Tanapa-style sardines in tomato sauce, which is a different situation from the rest of the Goya range. Open a can, and the first thing you taste is sweetness. Not tomato, not brine. Sugar, upfront and immediate. The ingredient list confirms it. Added sugar, tapioca modified starch, and xanthan gum.
Tapioca starch is generally considered safe, but it carries a high glycemic index. It moves blood sugar quickly.
Add 2 grams of sugar on top of that, And this is a real concern for anyone managing diabetes or insulin sensitivity.
Then there is the fill ratio. The 425-gram can contains 220 grams of sauce and only 180 grams of actual fish.
That is less than half the can by weight in sardines, on a product sold as canned sardines.
Industry standard calls for at least 70% fish. These cans do not come close.
Soybean oil is also in the recipe, which means the same omega-3 neutralization problem from chicken of the sea applies here. The brand right after this one is a subsidiary of a brand coming up shortly, and independent reviewers have already named it the worst sardine commercially available. Having looked at it, there is not much to disagree with. Number 6. Ocean Prince. Worst sardine brand on the market. Open the can, and the odor is the first thing you notice.
Not a mild C note, something aggressive that makes you check the expiration date.
The fish are scaly and bony in a way that suggests the cleaning process was either rushed past the point of usefulness or skipped.
Reviewers describe stopping mid-can to pull scales and bone fragments out of the meat. That is not a minor inconvenience.
It is a cleaning failure that reached the consumer. The brining is soybean oil combined with artificial smoke flavor.
An attempt to imitate the depth that naturally smoked quality fish produces on its own. It does not work. The Louisiana hot sauce variety uses spice intense enough to bury whatever is underneath it, which may be the intent. Their sardines in mustard sauce contain 830 milligrams of sodium, the highest single variety figure on this entire list.
Along with xanthan gum, soybean oil, and added sugar.
At $2 a can, this product is not worth the price. Ocean Prince's parent company shares some of these issues. That is next. Number 5. Crown Prince. Crown Prince positions itself as the better choice.
Wild caught on the label, a premium shelf presence. A name that implies something above the mass market.
The nutritional panel tells a different story. Their sardines in mustard sauce contain 17 grams of total fat and 4.5 grams of saturated fat intake from a single can, 100 milligrams of cholesterol and 810 milligrams of sodium, which is over half the daily limit for anyone managing blood pressure. These are among the highest combined fat and sodium numbers on this list. The fish are consistently described as scaly and dry, despite being packed in oil. When sardines in oil still come out dry, the oil quality is the explanation. The oil here is soybean oil,
which, as established, actively undermines the omega-3 benefits sardines are supposed to deliver. Crown Prince is charging a premium for budget-tier nutrition and some of the worst heart health numbers in this investigation.
And the name is doing more work than anything inside the tin. Best option number 7, Nuri. If you tried a budget sardine once, found it unpleasant, and wrote the category off, Nuri is where you start over. This is an artisanal Portuguese brand that has been canning sardines the traditional way for over a century. Not a century of brand heritage tied to a founding date. A century of actually refining the same process until the product reflects that investment. The fish are caught off the Portuguese coast, hand-packed into tins, and submerged in high-quality olive oil or real tomato sauce.
Spiced varieties add layered heat without masking the fish. The line most brands cannot walk.
The skin and bones are left in, intentionally. The skin amplifies flavor and the boneless sardines cannot match. The fish are larger than average, firm enough to lift from the tin intact. More protein, more nutrients, meaningfully less cholesterol than anything on the avoid list. The one limitation is variety. Nuri does not offer as many options as some buyers want. That, and only that, is why it opens rather than closes the best list. Fishwife entered a market where almost every brand competes on price. Their approach was to treat price as the last consideration. Wild-caught North Atlantic sardines, hand-packed, Spanish extra virgin olive oil that you can smell the moment the lid lifts. Not a faint background note, but the first thing that hits you. The fish are plump and substantial. One tin delivers 18 grams of protein, 35 milligrams of cholesterol, and 340 milligrams of sodium for 84 grams of sardines. Significantly more fish than the 57-gram standard the many comparison brands use. The protein-to-fish weight ratio is excellent. A 3-pack runs around $32. Unlike Roland, where pricing rose as quality declined, Fishwife's price reflects sourcing and production decisions made early in the product earns it. Number 5 has centuries of tradition behind it, and unlike a lot of brands that say that, you taste it in the tin. Best option number 5, Matiz. Matiz Gallego is based in Galicia, northwestern Spain, a region whose relationship with small boat fishing and conserva preparation.
King Oscar is the best commercially available sardine in the world. That price-to-quality ratio is almost unreasonable, and yet it has held for 150 years.